Hey guys, it's Undead again. Been a while since I've made anything for YouTube, and I'm playing another game now, as you could probably tell. I'm going to be talking about Lost Ark today. I've been playing on the Russian servers because I got addicted to the Western beta, and I can't wait for this game to launch. So, goal for this video in particular, and then for some subsequent ones to follow up, is to kind of draw some parallels between WoW and Lost Ark, considering I come from WoW. Obviously, I've been playing WoW at a high level for a while now. Um, so I'm going to try to help make it easier for anybody coming over from WoW that's interested in Lost Ark to understand what they're jumping into and kind of explain things in more Warcraft terms as opposed to Lost Ark terms, because they can be a little bit different. So we're going to start off really surface level, just talking about character creation, because right off the bat there's some things that might be a little bit confusing, and then eventually work through the leveling process, how combat works, gearing your character, how endgame progression works, all the raiding, the dungeons, the stuff at the end. Work through the whole game eventually. So let's get started with this. I talked about confusion as soon as you load up the game, and I think that confusion comes from what exactly are classes. So when you begin to make your character, which we'll do right now, you are immediately asked to choose your class. Now, obviously in WoW, your class is the core of your character. It is the spells that you get, how your character plays, what access to talents and stuff you have. So a super important decision in that regard. But in Lost Ark, your class here is more of, well, it is your race and archetype of your character, as opposed to what your actual spells are. So we have the warriors that are from Shusshire, the mages of Rehendal, the martial artists or fighters of Anik, the gunners or hunters of Arthetide, and the assassins of Payton. And the reason I'm using two terms is I'm kind of learning both the Western launch terms and the Russian translation terms at the same time. So to keep myself from being confused, in many cases, I'm going to use two terms for everything for right now until everything gets like fully translated and drilled into my brain that way on the Western launch. So what is your actual class? So within each of these classes are subclasses, which is what I'm going to refer to as classes. And this is why I think the distinction is important, because if you perceive this as class and subclass, you might come to the conclusion that you could swap between subclasses on the same character, but you cannot do that. So that's, I think that's the most important reason to understand this, is so you don't start a class, you're like, oh, I'll make an assassin and I'll start playing a Deathblade, and then later on I'll swap to Shadowhunter to try it out and it'll be fine. You're not gonna be able to do that. You're gonna have to make another character. So the subclasses in essence are classes. Now there's one more step of this. So say you decide you want to be a martial artist, and you see how we have male and female here. So in WoW, obviously your gender is simply aesthetic. That's all it matters. It's just what your character looks like. It doesn't mean any more than that in the character creation. In Lost Ark, that's different. There are subclasses that are specific to female and subclasses that are specific to male. So, for example, female martial artists have access to 4 subclasses. Only 3 of these will be available on the Western launch. Lance Master will not be here, so we have Battle Master or War Dancer, Infighter or Scrapper, and then Soul Master or Soul Fist as a female. But then if you play a male martial artist, you have access to simply a Striker. Now, the other iteration of this is obviously Hunter. Has these 4 for male, and then it has the Lone Gunslinger for female. So just worth knowing and paying attention to. Like, you're not just being like, oh, I'll just be a lady, that's fine. Like, you might want to play a Striker, so I would at least check out the male here. And my assumption for why they did this is so they could build out some super fluid and epic animations and gear for each class that feels like very on theme for what that class does. And honestly, they did an awesome job of it, so I have no problem with this. I'm sure some people have some gripes about it, but I think aesthetically the game looks amazing, so what they've done here doesn't bother me at all. So now the next step is to just test out your subclasses. So let's head in to making our female martial artist. We have a lot of things you can do out of the character customization, but I'm not going to really talk about that because that's not my cup of tea. We'll make Tom Torno. I say that, but it still takes me a half an hour to make my classes. So when we first start the game, you'll get a cinematic for your archetype where it will show where you come from. In this case, it would be Anik. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. We'll play through this. We're going to skip this for now, but you can watch these when you make your character if not, if you want, and they're also probably on YouTube somewhere. But then you're entered into a little training grounds of sorts. This area will end up important in the game, but when you're first making your character, it just, you have no idea. So we're on this little otherworldly plane where we meet our first character of the game. And after talking to my girl Beatrice, our angel lady up here, we're going to get to test out the different subclasses before you choose. By subclass, I mean class. God, it's going to be so... Even as I'm trying to explain it, I'm just saying things wrong, man. It's definitely tricky. I wish they had just called them archetypes and then classes underneath. It's 17 years of WoW training just spoiling my mind. So here we go. We get to try out our classes. Gives you a little look at all these, and here you go. Obviously, like I said, Lancemaster will not be here on launch. So let's take a look at Infighter. This is a class I've been playing the most right now. We can spawn some monsters. As you can see, we have our abilities down the bottom. Down in this bar, we have our 8 spells. We despawn all our monsters. You can spawn a boss. And this just lets you play around a little bit. See if you're actually going to like your character. And granted, this is not all the spells you're going to get. There will be more spells you get later on. This is just like a taste of some of the stuff you'll be playing with. Then when you hit preview other classes, you can obviously swap between whatever you want, whenever you want. Got the more punchy style. Bow! With some kicks in there as well. So when you're done, hit end class previews. Come over here and choose your class. We'll just pick a Battlemaster for now. Bang! We get our sick little Battlemaster starter gear. Our baby gauntlets. Boop-a-da-boop. And now we're ready to game. And that's it for making your class. I really just wanted to talk about the confusion between races or archetypes and classes and subclasses, so nobody comes in here thinking like, I'll just make a martial artist and then I can try all this stuff and play it all at the top level, and you're not quite able to do that. So hope this helped some of you out that are starting to get interested in the launch of this game. Hope a ton of you come over and play from WoW. I think this game is going to be a slow-moving boulder that picks up some steam as the months go on. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are getting excited, and I will see you next time.